Zillion Rebel.
Mobby, you sit here and take that from Yole? He's not here to defend himself. Throw punches.
Look. I played a lot of... I did play a lot of Zillion. I used to play him quite a lot. It's not my favorite champion by a long shot. I just played it because I am a filthy Zillion abuser. And he was kind of strong. Nobody knew how to play into him for a while. Then he got popular at Worlds and people started to learn, and I had to stop. But now he's back. He's back in the mid lane. I was more of a sports Zillion, so I'm not necessarily as in tune with these matchups. But here we go against DO1. You can sort of play. It's a lot of mind gaming around throwing the bombs at the distortion pads, but early invade comes on in, going to secure this jungle for the side of Levi, and will most likely revert to just vertical jungling, I would imagine, especially as everything gets spotted out with the return to lane direction from the bot lane and the mid lane.
Okay. Lots of play on the bottom side. I love everything that just happened from the side of SE, because it was a response to a lot that was going on. Because, bottom side, they get the invade. Top side, there was also a ward poked in from Gnar. Is in the mid lane, Levi just immediately goes after DO1 to make sure the Kadi's going to be defense. But the bottom lane, they actually shoved the wave so fast that it would push on wave 1 instead of in wave 2. And because of that, they could actually trade pretty aggressively into style and B when it's double marksman, like you guys were alluding to, how squishy of a composition this bot lane and this whole team is. As you can see, a bit of a response from DNK. He knows his bot side camp was taken, or at least his red buff was taken, and Levi shoved out at least a little bit. No assistance from Kadi because he only just now hits level 2 for some wave clear.
Oh, but a very early top-up puts Levi at an early level 3, and this is actually going to be enough early game power that it has to send DNK packing, and this gives the top side over to Levi, and that's a quick, easy 3 buff. Just clever use of the Zillion passive.
Yeah, very, very nicely played coming out here from this team, obviously having some kind of game plan as Kiaya, kind of sick of getting killed by Emperor, putting in some damage against him, making sure that the Akali is going to feel the effects of the ranged matchup here. As another thing that we haven't seen at least pop off quite yet. And something else to talk about is, of course, like, you've got this really electric composition, I would say, from SE. Like, you've got double assassin, double AP assassin, you've got Viego as well inside of this composition, up against, again, double marksman and the AD rules, Zillion, that type of thing. So you're excited. Who needs to get resource in this game, though, on the side of SE? Who are you wanting to get that? Like, would you prefer it on Emperor, LeBlanc? Do you actually want it in Celebrity? Like, where do you want to see them lean in this early game?
It's such a really hard decision to do, because you've got the 3 carries. I think Celebrity is going to pretty much get the midway for most of it, because that's just kind of how Civ vibes sits in the midwave, shoves it up forever. But I don't know, who do you allocate the side waves to? I feel DO1 will need it a little bit more, just based on how LeBlanc plays compared to Enper. Also, Enper having that ignite should make his kill threat a little bit better. I think we're going to see how it pans out in the early game, and whoever gets rolling on the side of SBTC is going to be given the resources to keep rolling, and they're just sort of keeping both their options open at this stage to just sort of make sure that you can't just shut down the one assassin, you have to try and shut down both. Right now, DO1 seems to be succeeding. Hello, B.
Yeah, B just pops into the mid lane, throws 4 auto attacks with a hail of blades into DO1 to help transfer quite a bit. As Emperor in the Shroud is going to take some damage from Kiaya. Hasn't backed quite yet, probably will now, and just use the TP as the wave is back in the middle of the lane. One way or another, though, again, talking about big scope of this game, you have to think about what this is going to do to the standings. You have to think about what this is going to do to both these teams. A win here from SE, I think, even if GAM is able to come back to form and win out the rest of the season, even if they upset, they pull win against Team Secret and every other team, and it ends up being some kind of tie record between the two, holding that advantage over top of GAM is humongous for SE. It means they don't have to worry as much. Some of the games that they have to win, some of the games that they lost during the course of their first split, they don't have to worry about nearly as much winning on the second half. And for GAM, again, climbing into a position where they can prove that they can beat all of the top teams, not just a couple, is going to be big for proving to us that they are the world's team we wanted to see back in the spring split.
even if they do fall today, if SBTC can end up like recovering and they end up in a tied situation, they're not going to lose a head-to-head, as you say, in terms of matchups. So that's good for them. They don't have as much weight on their shoulders, of course, but you do really want to slam this 2-0 against GAM and just try and make sure that you can have that little bit of an extra edge, bring you up to that next stage in the playoff pick decisions, things like that. We're just seeing a lot of trading back and forth. I'm just waiting for something to happen. These junglers need to try and get something started. Levi and poking around the dragon, but this should realistically you'd feel belong. The pressure should belong to SBTC because the bot lane seem to be about even in terms of pressure and how much the control they can gather. As I say, that GAM manages to win this trade this time around, but the mid lane belongs entirely to the side of SBTC, but they got to catch Dia 1 on a reset and actually just end up burning through this dragon really quickly.
Yeah, and only 6 minutes too. If they really wanted to, they could try to maybe burn quite a bit elsewhere on the map just to try to deploy into topside. You can see that Kadi's getting a good back right now after Dia 1 had just taken the back. Should be back in lane just in time to catch the mid wave. Bottom side is something you have to pay attention to. Jinx is going to catch it. B's going to stop some backs, maybe? Yeah, he was able to stop at least Celebrity's back, which is pretty big. If he wants to go up into top side, as B is just willing to take the auto-attacking battle up against Celebrity this early into the game, that Hail of Blades, super helpful. As now, I mean, there is real potential. They could shove this under, keep the Sivir here for longer, and again, in 1 minute, the Rift Herald will be up. It's possible B could get there at level 5. As Gimper in the top lane, it's going to find a bit of damage. Ultimate is going to come through. It's going to be more than enough as Emperor finds another solo kill. Does trade it back, but always willing to make it happen. Emperor refuses to let Kiaya sit in this lane.
Unfortunately, it's not a really good position. Actually, it might work out just okay, as Levi's gonna push it back in towards Emperor, and he should be able to pick this up quite comfortably. Shouldn't crash, though if DNK is there to escort and make sure it doesn't crash horribly into tower. This works out fantastically for Emperor. He can catch this wave, set up some kind of siege, and yeah, just really nice play. Lands the E, lands the perfect execution. Fortunately, has to go a bit too deep to get it. But in the end, hey, it's another kill.
Always going back to the bread and butter, too. It's Emperor going back to the Akali. That's, again, at SEA Games, this was the champion that he first made the name on when he was flexing another top laners. We got to fight on top side. Levi and Kiaya going into Emperor and DNK, trying to get out. They were trying to catch him in the middle of that wave. Emperor is going to be able to walk away at this point. Kadi has returned as well. Has level 6 if they want to make a dive happen, but the wave is going to get caught outside the tower. And as you can see, both bot lanes have actually meandered their way up. There's potentially a fight coming through as Dia 1 is in position right now. Palette is kind of behind everybody. Only level 6 for Palette, only level 6 for B as well. He'll get something.
Go onto style.
Okay, a little bit of something. Cleanse used a little too early. Second chain was actually dropped. That's going to be style. Dropped to half health, but that's about it. GAM is just going to get the Rift Herald. I think it was just SE looking for some kills here and there.
Yeah, they blew a lot. They blew the flash on D1 to try and get the kill onto style. Celebrity not willing to try and commit and do the follow-up, but in the end, yeah, that pressure on the top side, getting Emperor down, is going to secure GAM this Rift Herald. They're going to feel quite comfortable about that and convert that to some gold somewhere on the map. Empty mid lane is going to present itself very shortly, so they might be able to do a quick drop there. Gonna look and try and get a more opportune moment perhaps later on.
The big, I think, sweeping revelation that happened right there was that it was a Rift Herald traded off for basically the entire wave that had crashed into Emperor, which was about 13 minions. So it ended up being like a kill's worth of minions. It traded off for that Rift Herald, which is something to consider in the grand scheme of things. That's basically what SE had traded that for. They couldn't do anything else. They didn't lose anything. They didn't burn summoner spells on the defense right there. Dia 1 tried to get style and got both of his summoners, so something to keep track of in the future. But at minimum, SE at least has some idea of what they've given over. Now they have to try to deny Levi from putting that Rift Herald down somewhere significant. My curiosity goes to you, again, where this Rift Herald is best suited, because it seems like top lane is a decent place. Bottom lane seems like a great place to put it with double ADC. But where do you want to see it most?
I mean, you're playing a Raise the Puppy composition, through and through. You've got a zillion mid lane. You've got a big front line for it. You have to put it into style if you can. If the opportunity presents itself, maybe you put it onto Kiaya, but I think you're really going to try and put it onto this Jinx and accelerate her as fast as you can. But everyone's just looking around. Here comes
Flash's punishing style is going to have to run away to actually auto-attack his friend, but he's going to get gunned down by his own support as B ends up killing him off. What a play from Paulette right there. It was just auto-attacking style, thinking you could get an auto-attack or two into Paulette for free, and Paulette just saying nuts to that. But Flash is in, presses the Q, gets him back into the rest. So the rest of this, Levi has to be here just to make sure they have cover. You can see, though, Viego actually is elsewhere. DNK has left. That's going to be an Ash Arrow in the perfect position for Levi to be able to roll back and punish Paulette very easily. The W is not going to actually mean anything. It's extremely well played. Good response from Levi.
Yeah, fantastic out of B, and Levi able to come down and crash a Jinx ult, not quite landing.
We're not done yet.
Would have been fantastic.
We're not done yet. That's a lot of damage immediately onto Levi. Ult's going to come through. DNK wants the kill. He's going to get it. Will he have enough with the Wukong to jump in? Nope, he's just going to bail. And that means the Rift Herald can't get drop bot lane either.
Yeah, get a kill onto Jinx, so that means they don't really want to push that Rift Herald immediately. Walk into a darkness and end up killing Levi, and that kills the timer on that as well. So that was the plan. It definitely seemed like the play was to go to bot side, but there's also going to be a free dragon as, dead Levi. Happy days for SBTC.
And it's not the same velocity of game we're used to from the side of SE. We're used to them fighting all the time, always, forever. And Emperor's already showed us just a little bit of that. But the important part of this is that they are up 1,000 gold. They're tied in dragons, and they're feeling fine with how the game has been going so far. As Emperor, once again, does he have enough damage? I don't think he has. He does have the second portion of the ultimate. He didn't want to trade a second time, but he's going to crash this wave and get himself a back, maybe even force Kiaya's ultimate in the mid lane. Popped onto Kadi to make sure DL wasn't going to bring him down. Rift Herald dropped immediately from Levi just to try to get some gold. They're going to stop it. It looks like they caught the Rift Herald right outside tower pushing range, as that's going to be Levi going in to try to shove them off. Can they get the Rift Herald? Ultimate's going to come through from Ash just to try to get something. Rift Herald is going to get a charge and going to get the plate. That's what they were wrestling for here in the mid lane. And finally GAM get it.
It took so much effort, and it only goes on to Levi, not really anyone else, but they got the charge before it timed out, and now Emperor wants to go again. He doesn't have everything. He doesn't have his kill threat right now. He decided to show a rare bit of restraint in that last attempt, but yeah, look, it's just SBTC are playing quite well now. The Crown of the Shattered Queen is here for Cardi, so the kill threat has gone down considerably for DO1, but I mean, he does have very easy way to sort of break it in lane, quick auto attack, dash forward, Q. He can break it very quickly if he needs to, but of course, I mean, kill threat onto Resilient, not really the best. So in the end, it's just going to be a bit of a quick invade by Levi, pick up a blue buff, and all in all, we're just sort of we're just at this small lead, 300 gold, and just trading as much plate gold as we can. Going to be another one onto Celebrity just before the timer kicks off. And all in all, it's just so damn close. You don't really know what's going to happen until the next fight.
Truly does. I just to mention a couple of things, I really appreciate the crown buy. I know a lot of mages have been going to it. I think the durability patch paired with that make them such a low priority target for being jumped on. That it allows them a lot more space and agency in fights that normally you wouldn't have. And for Zillion, I mean, it does save the ultimate, right? Like if Kadi gets jumped on by DO1, he doesn't have to ult himself. Instead, he can play with the puppy, as you called it. He can pop the ultimate on the puppy style to make sure that he doesn't get popped either in the midst of a fight and be just A-okay. As once again, both teams going back and forth a good amount. Levi trying to posture towards bottom lane, again, trying to lead the puppy into a very solid position where Style is going to be able to help take over this game effectively. Doing a good job of it. I think they should be able to shove off this tower here. You can see multiple members in mid lane kind of moseying their way down here right now.
Yeah, but just a little bit too much wave clear, so they can't quite take it on this one. But it does give them a good position. Now, 10 seconds till this Rift Herald. And Garmin's just going to walk all the way up river. That seems to be the play for them. Dion is going to possibly find an unfortunate encounter if he doesn't move out the way. But I like this double back from Style because without Celebrity nearby, he should be able to pick up this tower for free. And it's still a pretty easy way to get back up there. Yeah. And besides, I mean, if you give it up, it's not the end of the world because you got first brick anyway.
Yeah, first tower of the game, going over to the exact member that it also wants to be on for GAM is a perfect situation to find yourself in. They don't have to compete for this Rift Herald play either. The one thing it does do is it potentially leads to a dive on top lane. I think Kiaya could be under some threat from DNK if he wanted to be. It seems like Emperor is definitely getting the better of him in the laning phase, even after the 1-for-1, the damage is coming through, but they're not going to. They're just going to back. They're just going to take the Rift Herald. They'll use it elsewhere, maybe try to use it to compete for the next dragon. That's going to be up in about a minute. Easy enough to do that. You just run up mid lane, pop it there. Sivir's wave clear already makes it difficult to deal with that in the first place anyway.
And definitely feels like that's probably the opportunity right now. It's Ocean Drake right now, and if you manage to pick up that soul for the side of SBTC, you actually it actually helps quite a lot against that single damage threat from GAM, because he has to try and cut through all the extra healing. It maybe forces B to pick up a Chempunk Chainsword or something along those lines. We have yet to see how that's sort of going to pan out. It's still a while away after all, so just gonna have to. They're gonna have to move in, try and set up around this dragon. It's gonna be a little bit easier for the side of GAM, of course, with that tower down in bot. They have an access point into the side of SBTC's jungle and can get some deep vision down if they want to. They're not going to be able to really do it quite yet. That's a time investment they're not willing to do, but they have prime positioning. Plus, of course, they have Ashy, so they can cheat vision as well.
It's of interest to me to watch SE kind of do this. You can see Cotty's poking away at them. They've got more than enough range to work with Zillion bombs, with B, with the volleys and things like that. But it's really crazy because SE has actually had quite a bit of restraint inside a game like this. They had a similar series against Secret earlier on in the week where it felt like they had a game like this where they felt a lot more restrained from what they normally do, and it didn't look great for them. This time, it's actually boding pretty well. They're even in gold. The Rift Herald's going to get dropped. The Sivir's going to push the wave. They're going to be fine. But ultimately, like the last time they did this, Team Secret got the better of them for good reason because it didn't look comfortable, but this looks a lot better even just a couple days removed from where they were.
Yeah, it's going to come at a little bit of its a cost. They've committed Emperor down here to kind of expecting the fight to come on through, but no, it's just going to keep split pushing. Ult comes in.
Celebrity catches it into the backline, goes D1 to try to find some assassination. There's Emperor running into the middle of the team. He's going to use the W just to make sure nobody can see him, can find any assassination. As one goes down, Jinx is already excited. The Celebrity's going to get even more. He's got a double kill now. Now this dragon and the fight afterwards go to the side of GAM. I don't even know how it happened in the midst of everything. Style just broke out, did so much damage, and was able to bring down the bot lane of SE.
Yeah, Jinx able to steal that dragon. I think dropped an ultimate, grabbed a kill, grabbed the dragon as an accident alongside it, and then from there the reset comes in, the extra power of that get excited passive. We're gonna just keep a close eye on Style there. Walks around and dodges that first bit, and then the dragon just dies. Yeah, I'm not actually sure what got the dragon. There goes the Super Mega Death Rocket after the kills had already come through, so just a stray auto, a stray zap that DNK didn't smite properly. I don't know. A bit of a flub, I suppose.
Yeah, and the side of SE, they kind of got breached on. I love the Kiaya flank, too. That came out of basically nowhere. I saw it at the tail end of that fight, doing such a good job. Again, Kiaya, despite having some in-lane problems with Emperor over the course of this entire season, basically, has still been edged to make himself a solid enough team fighter. Has always been kind of touted for being capable of doing that. Here on the Gnar, that flank specifically definitely showing up very, very big, as it allowed GAM to claim their 2,000 gold advantage, their dragon advantage as well, to put them in a better position for a game like this, especially since they are very one note in their composition. That Jinx, of course, being their one damage source, making sure that Style gets that resource is an absolute necessity right there. Kiaya being a big reason why they found that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Jinx is obviously the big superstar of this composition, but the intermittent damage that comes out of Kiara and Levi is definitely not to be snuffed, especially. No. Because, like, SBTC are not playing the same sort of composition they were in Game 1. They are quite squishy themselves, so that damage is going to cause a little bit of threat. Here comes small passives racing this Jinx right up. Gets to level 12. It's not a huge breakpoint. It's not like a level 11, but...
okay. DNK has to ult over the wall. Bottom lane, there's also a fight that's been going on for at least a hot second, as Emperor is ulting away. Is going to get tagged up by B's ultimate as well. I don't know that they're going to be able to catch him in time. Nope, just going to have to walk out as right there, the rest of the entirety of GAM was kind of encroaching upon bottom side. It's going to push back the rest of this team here as nobody. SE is just trying to dump as much as they can into the wave. They're going to lose the tower anyways. In goes Levi. He's going to get absolutely denied by Paulette, who finally finds a way to deny on the likes of this Renata Glask. But ultimately, GAM, again, just enforcing their willpower once more.
SBTC is going to try and get what he can on this top side. Should be able to take this tower down before a response from GAM, but overall still a net positive gold trade for the side of the Spring Champions. Just able to take down that inner tower, able to keep Emperor on his toes. The timing of that Meganar meant that Emperor had to run away, just especially with the collapse coming down through. And Emperor has not been able to really accelerate ahead. Pretty much neither of these assassins have, and Jinx more than certainly has got the Hex Drinker under their belt. This is sort of showing the weakness of the double AP assassins, not diversifying their threats. And really, DNK also going for the tank build, so he's not going to be a pretty big dive threat either. So look, Styles looking pretty safe right now, especially. And I mean, that's even before we consider the Zillion ultimate. Man, this is the safest Jinx ever.
Now, I will say the one detour away from damage in going to the Hex Drinker does mean that Infinity Edge probably comes faster for Celebrity, and maybe that's a break point that the side of SE can fight on. But for a moment, I actually want to talk about GAM in that they're winning this game pretty handily. They're doing a great job in this one. I'm not trying to postulate anything else. But this is such an important series for them to win also because they've already lost to Saigon and Cerberus. Those are the two that are competing for the fourth playoff spot, the third playoff spot, whatever. They're two of the teams in the playoff race right now, as well as GAM. And they already lost one series against SE. So three of the teams that are competing for playoffs, they have lost against that they are in competition with at the moment. And so that's problematic because at best they are going to be tying those teams, and you don't have that definitive kind of de facto determiner. As a fight goes out, is going to immediately catch Paulette, who's just going to die immediately. A Celebrity gets brought down on the other side. Levi is actually going to die for his ramification, unless there's a Zillion ult, if that happened to come out of anywhere. And they just have to stop putting damage into Levi to make sure he can walk out. But it's just an Ashe arrow catch. B, once again, with a solid arrow.
B's absolutely been on point with these ultimates. Style, less so, as he sends that one out. But in the end, it's just a fantastic pick set up by Levi a little bit to get that initial knock up onto Paulette, and then from there, just absolutely fantastic. No response able to come out from the side of SBTC. They can't really do anything. It's just GAM dictating the pace. They're just collapsing on, getting these picks. SBTC are just scattering every time it sort of happens. Not trying to rally around, not even trying to defend or bail out their picked member. You see, Celebrity just has to book it. DNK and Emperor are kind of there, and they're able to defend Celebrity, but then Levi is able to stick around with a Zillion ultimate on top, and they just have to walk away a little bit upset because there's no opportunity for a reset for DNK, no opportunity for anything.
I postulated what would happen if GAM were to lose this game in this series and how bad it could be for their playoff standings because they officially lose a race against at least one of the teams being down 2-0. But it seems like they are not willing to take that trade-off. Instead, our ex-champions from the previous split, or our previous champions, not ex-champions, they're not ex-champions yet, our champions from the previous splits, definitely showing back in form over the course of this split very effectively in a number of different ways. And especially in this one, it's a pretty massive win. The win against a couple of teams has just been really big, and GAM's confidence just seems so boosted ever since they were able to take a win just last week.
Yeah, it feels like they've sort of rediscovered their style. Pun unintended, because that style has been, ever since, for the past couple of years, it's been playing through the bot side, and it's worked out really well.
Okay.
Good ult. Ult gets blocked by the spell shield, so feels a little bit bad. But here comes Kiaya. They want to find something, but and turn onto back.
Looking for Celebrity. Levi's really far up. The flash in has to happen to make sure that Levi is going to get the Zillion ultimate. As Ki is on the front line as well. He's going to try to do his best as can. On the other side of the fight, Dia1 was trying to find something. As Emperor is also able to put a good amount of damage in. Celebrity just has to focus on Ki. As Emperor on the other side of the fight finds a second now. But that's all that he's going to be able to get, as the rest of his team is just completely falling over the wall code style. As he's just going to be throwing autos in. Celebrity trying to run away, but he is going to get gunned down. As GAM is finding their way into a fight, find their way into the jungle, and find their way to a Baron buff, most likely.
Yeah, Emperor's able to get 2, but unfortunately he's not able to get the Jinx, so that means GAM still walk away pretty happy and end this fight. Now they're going to turn straight onto the Baron, lots of damage in their pockets. This should melt very quickly. I'm just going to look at it again, and Levi going so aggressive. He knows he can. He has an ultimate to back him up and a second life. And then the Assassins do their best to delay the Jinx. Emperor's able to pick up 2 on the backside alongside, but again, yeah, not the Jinx. So Jinx is happy to flash over and kill off Celebrity, finish off the entire fight. And then from there, Baron, and now the siege begins. And Jinx Ashe are pretty good at taking down towers, pretty good at putting autos in, kind of decent. So there is decent wave clear for SBTC. Baron does not prevent AD damage, so Siva's still going to be an absolute annoyance to try and cut through, but any time on the tower is good time on the tower for this GAM composition, so this siege should work out pretty well.
Oh wow, ultimate, okay, Celebrity is just going to block it, well spell shielded at the moment. Running in, Style just gets to be super powered by this pocket Zillion that Cody has been managing for the entirety of the game, and it's allowing Style to really step up for the team. Again, somebody that, like, last split had started stepping up a lot more, but in the previous split had really been downplayed. Honestly, the AD role has always been a little bit downplayed for GAM until Style came in and has really started flexing for the team, as Kiaya wants revenge for the past couple of games. Emperor wants a little bit more damage. He can't quite find it, as Kiaya is going to be able to find the auto. DNK should be the savior and the hero that you were looking for at the edge of the night. Unfortunately, it looks like on the other side of the map, there's additional play that's happening underneath the bottom tower. Yeah, he's just running away, but he's just toying with his food at the moment because DNK is pulled away from the entire base's Style. He's just wrecking everybody. The arrows enough with the bounce damage to find Celebrity, and that was your one hope, is maybe Celebrity can live. And as he gets into his fountain, he's not able to live. That almost certainly is the death sentence, as a TP is going to save the minion on the front line. They still have Baron buff minions. DNK is going to have to do so much with Paulette right now to try to save this game, but I just don't think they have it in them. See if DNK is able to do so. Paulette's going to try to do something, as they've already got both towers down. They're already autoing onto the Nexus, and he's not even going to try. DNK's not even near the base, as GAM is going to fell our 5-2 team, and they're going to be